Okay, let's take a look at the balance sheet forecasting, cash flow reports and detailed reporting capabilities of 4CastPro. We'll click on the icon and input the default username and password and open up the test database. This time we'll click on the balance sheet tab and take a look at the balance sheet. Essentially, you've got month by month capability of entering figures directly onto the balance sheet as you have onto the profit and loss account here. But on the balance sheet side there are other useful features that we can use to make the balance sheet automatically reforecast itself based on the actuals you're importing and the figures that you're putting into your P&L account forecasts. On the administration menu here we've got something called balance sheet assumptions. This allows us to set up default debtor days on sales accounts and default creditor days on purchase accounts, which allows the trade debtors and trade creditors figures to be calculated on the balance sheet. On the fixed asset side you can set up relationships between the cost account, the accumulated depreciation account and the depreciation charge in the profit and loss account. You can set up the method of depreciation to be straight line or reducing balance and pop in the rate. This allows depreciation to be calculated on both the profit and loss account and on the balance sheet. You can set up what proportion of your payroll accounts for PAYE and NI and pop in the relevant statistics here on the right hand side. For VAT you can set up your VAT quarter end and the default VAT rate. If we take a look at the accounts on the profit and loss account, you can see that both percentage VATable on the accounts, be it 100% or 50%, and the default debtor days can be set up against each of the sales accounts and each of the cost accounts, so you can do it in a lot more detail. Let's take a look at the loan matrix finally. You can also set up loans and give and tell it they're a related P&L account loan interest account. What that allows us to do then is when we drill down on loans, you get a little yellow arrow next to the ones where we've set up a relationship. You can set the loan up either using a loan calculator or manually, popping in the repayments and the interest to the profit and loss account. Effectively that's a little T account. If we look on the profit and loss account, say under occupancy, you can see that the method of some of the accounts is set up as accrue. What this does is allow you to have another T account where you can pop in the amount of, say, quarterly invoices for rent, and we're expensing it monthly to the profit and loss account. This means that any accruals or prepayments will automatically then be forecast onto your balance sheet and your cash flow report. So let's drill down on fixed assets now, and on fixtures you can see we can add in any additions here onto the balance sheet as well. So let's hit the recalc button. Now what that's doing is going through and recalculating and calculating all the forecasts in the balance sheet based on the information in the P&L account. What that allows us to do is to produce a detailed cash flow report. So let's click on that and see what we've got. It shows receipts from customers, supplier payments, any capital expenditure, the quarterly VAT payments, any capital introduced or loan money coming in, PAYE, net pay, so we get a real cash flow on a month by month basis, and we've got that for all years of the forecast. So that's how we do that's how 4CastPro handles balance sheet forecasting and cash flow reporting. On the main menu here we're also capable of producing packs. There's a plan pack. First of all we should take a look at the 5-year plan. planning tool. This is a little tool that allows you to, once you forecast your year one in sufficient detail, you can populate future years based on inflation. So if we click here on these lines, we can inflate it in future years. Click inflate and you can see that these lines have changed. We can then save that back. We can have the data spread evenly or spread as in year one. So it's a nice quick way of populating the 5-year plan. So reporting then, the plan pack allows us to produce a nice plan for the bank. We'll take a look at it for the first 2 years of the model. Basically it goes through calculating year one and year two. Everywhere in 4CastPro you can click on this Export XLS button to export everything out into Excel. You get a statutory profit and loss account, statutory balance sheet by month, funds flow, cash flow, and a detailed profit and loss account by month. Perfect for giving to the bank for their requirements. If you want a board pack, there's a management accounts pack that will give you the statutory accounts P&L, the balance sheet, the funds flow, a balance sheet by period, a P&L account by period, and a balance sheet by period and a P&L account by period. Now, if these sort of reports aren't in exactly the format you want, there's something called custom Excel forecasting. Well, let's open up one and take a look. Basically, there's an add-in which allows you to produce reports directly from the database. We can bring information here on the left-hand side in at account level, account group level, or at type level for any particular cost center. Across the top, it'll do the calculations and calculate year-to-date figures and full-year figures without you having to bring them in and add them up as you do in ordinary spreadsheet programs. So let's hit refresh and see what we get. Yeah, the information's changed and it's brought through the latest data from the database. It's very easy to set up your own board packs using this in exactly the format that you require them, and using all the power of Excel and formatting of Excel to do that. Excel has also got a write back capability. If we define the accounts at an account level and at a cost center level, it's possible to use this export column by putting an E or an E neg in to actually write the data back to the database. So that it's possible to include any forecasts that you've got in spreadsheets into the solution of 4CastPro. So that's about it really for part 2 of the introduction to 4CastPro.